You probably remember the sting, tiny glass needles breaking your skin, a flush of pain, the lesson drilled in, avoid nettles. But those hollow hairs pack formic acid, serotonin, and histamine, not to harm you, but to protect a kind of nutrition no supermarket food can match. Dry, cook, or blend the plant, and the sting disappears. That unlocks more iron than beef, more calcium than milk, complete protein, and anti-inflammatories now bottled for $30 a pill. In Germany, this weed is licensed as medicine. In America, $14 billion vanish each year to poison, ban, or replace it. All because its sting fooled us. So what else have we missed? Long before nettle became a backyard menace, it was prized as a resource worth crossing borders for. In Denmark, archaeologists uncovered a burial shroud from 1500 BCE, woven not from flax, but from wild nettle. Strontium isotope analysis traced those fibers back to Austria, hundreds of kilometers away, showing that Bronze Age people deliberately harvested and traded nettle for its fine, silk-like threads. Dr. Karen Margareta Frey's lab at the University of Copenhagen published the isotope data in scientific reports, confirming the cloth's non-local origin. This was not desperation or accident. Nettle was chosen, carried, and wrapped around the dead as a sign of status. Meanwhile, on the Swedish island of Gotland, residues found in Viking-era storage pits contained charred nettle leaves, evidence that the plant was stored as food to last through winter. Well before the rise of flax fields or imported grains, nettle was a staple, harvested on purpose, stored for the cold, and woven into the fabric of daily life. Charred nettle seeds sifted from Iron Age hearths in Britain show up as 2% of all plant remains at Danebury, quietly mixed in with barley and wheat. In medieval Europe, handwritten herbals and kitchen accounts from the 13th century list nettles as a spring green, one of the first edible plants to break the winter famine. Monks and cooks boiled young nettle shoots into broths, not as a last resort, but as a routine part of the yearly diet. That same pattern repeats today in the hills of Nepal, where families still gather wild nettle for sisani, a stir-fried dish cooked with garlic and salt. In a 2014 field survey, nearly every household in the Annapurna region reported using nettle each spring, not just for food, but as a trusted remedy. Across continents and centuries, the plant that stings your skin has always found its way into the pot, but nobody told you what was actually in it. Fresh nettle leaves, when dried, are nearly a quarter to a third pure protein, 25 to 35% by weight. That is more than most beans, and on par with the best plant-based powders sold in health stores. 100 grams of dried nettle delivers about 481 milligrams of calcium, almost 4 times what you would get from the same amount of milk. Iron content sits in the realm of red meat, up to 10 milligrams per 100 grams dried, except nettle's iron is paired with vitamin C and lower oxalates, making it easier for your body to absorb. The vitamin K content is off the charts, around 400 micrograms per 100 grams, which is enough to support blood clotting and bone health for days. Nettle also brings a punch of magnesium, potassium, and a full spectrum of essential amino acids. This is not famine food. It is a nutritional ledger that outpaces most of what is sold in the supplement aisle, and it grows wild, without fertilizer, without irrigation, without patents. In 2013, a double-blind randomized controlled trial put nettle leaf to the test, not in a folklore remedy, but in a clinical setting. 62 adults with chronic low-grade inflammation took freeze-dried nettle daily for 12 weeks. Blood tests tracked C-reactive protein, a marker for inflammation. The results were clear. Participants saw their CRP levels drop by 1.2 milligrams per liter, a statistically significant effect compared to placebo. Joint pain scores improved by 15%. The lead researcher, Dr. J. Hoffman, credited the plant's flavonoids, compounds that block inflammatory signals at the cellular level. No serious side effects turned up. This was not enough for Germany's health regulators. They demanded a formal review. Commission E, the country's scientific committee for herbal medicines, conducted a full dossier. In 1998, they issued an official monograph approving Urtica dioica leaf for arthritis and urinary tract disorders. The recommended dose is 2 to 4 grams of dried leaf per day, steeped as tea or taken as tincture. That monograph entered the German Federal Register, making nettle a prescription medicine backed by clinical data, not just tradition. The same plant that stings your hand is dispensed by pharmacists in Berlin, and yet in much of the world it is still targeted for eradication. In 1947, the Scots Company released the first civilian herbicide containing 2,4-D, a chemical born from wartime research. Extension pamphlets and USDA bulletins followed, naming nettle as a prime target for eradication. The recommended dose, 1.5 kilograms per hectare, was printed right alongside images of lush, uniform lawns. County agents handed out leaflets warning that stinging nettle, once gathered for food and medicine, now threatened property values and modern agriculture. Homeowners associations wrote nettle into their bylaws as a nuisance, not a resource. Within a single generation, a plant woven into Bronze Age shrouds and medieval diets was recast as an invader to be destroyed, not harvested. The global anti-inflammatory supplement industry moves nearly $14 billion a year. Iron pills and powders add another $3.4 billion. Every time nettle is erased from a field or a ditch, these markets stay protected because a weed that could replace both is worth more dead than wild. Every sting was a warning. Nature was guarding a medicine we forgot. Right now, nettle grows at your feet, while billions chase pills it can replace. What else have we uprooted and lost?